Hello Internet, so nice to see you! In past videos on this channel we have seen the classical augmented sixth chords. We've seen the Italian augmented sixth, the German augmented sixth and the French augmented sixth. It always struck me as very odd that there are only those three kind of chords that use the augmented sixth. So today we are going to use the idea behind the augmented sixth chords to invent new sounds. We are going to understand why classical theory uses only those three chords and not other. And we are also going to see how to make those new sound options sound good in the context of your music. The classical augmented sixth chord follow all pretty much the same pattern. The important point is that there are two altered notes inside them, as we've seen in past videos. Very briefly, we can make an example like this. In the key of C major, we can play C major, F with a bass of A, the augmented sixth chord, G7 and back to C. The important feature is this interval between the A-flat note and the F-sharp note. Those are both altered notes, they are not originally in the key of C, and the interval between them is an augmented sixth. And this interval is enharmonic to a minor seventh. Enharmonic means that if I respell those notes like A-flat, G-flat, I just add the interval of a minor seventh. And indeed, the augmented sixth chords are all pretty much enharmonic to an A-flat seventh chord. This interval here and its resolution, with the A-flat going down to G and the F-sharp going up to G, it's the important feature of the augmented sixth chord. This, if you think about it, means that we could take any chord that contains a minor seventh and make it an augmented sixth chord. Now I understand that the previous sentence was not the clearest ever, so why don't I make an example so you see what I mean? So, rather than playing this previous chord progression, let me eliminate this augmented sixth chord and put in here instead an A-flat minor seventh with a flat 5 chord. And now, let me respell the notes this other way. Now, this new chord is formally an augmented sixth chord. It contains both the A-flat and the F-sharp note, and they both resolve outward to G. How will that sound? Well, it does sound quite well for not knowing what we are doing now. Again, the only thing I did was to take a chord that contained the notes A-flat and G-flat, and I just respelled the G-flat into an F-sharp and resolved it in the opposite direction than the seventh will normally resolve. In most situations, the seventh will resolve down. In this situation, the seventh resolves up. Can I do this with other chords? Sure. Rather than using an A-flat minor seventh flat 5, let's use just an A-flat minor seventh. To make it sound a bit smoother, let's add a major seventh to the F chord. It's kinda jazzy in sound. Can I do this with other chords? Sure, I can put here any chord that contains a minor seventh. So, for instance, I can use an A-flat 7 with a suspended fourth. What I've shown so far are just 3 examples, and the most attentive and knowledgeable among you will have noticed that those examples are not even that original. For instance, the first example I made, where I had an A-flat minor seventh flat 5 spelled in a different way, it's not my idea at all. It's called the Tristan Chord, and it was famously used by Richard Wagner in his opera Tristan und Isolde. The second and third example with the A-flat minor seventh and the A-flat 7 sus4 are actually quite common in jazz music. Now, depending on the music you listen to, you may like all those examples or like only some of them, or maybe not like any one of them. Those chordal options definitely seem to be more rare than others, so our ear is not as accustomed to them as it could be. But this also means that you can make a lot of new music if you learn to use those options. Now, to my ear, and this is strictly my ear and my opinion, the first example, the one with the A flat minor 7 flat 5, the Tristan chord, it's much easier to make sound good than the other two examples. You may share the same impression. Why is that? The reason why the minor 7 flat 5 chord sounds better in this situation is because it's a dissonant chord. There is this kind of general idea in music theory that many harmony books hint at, but never explicitly say, that if you have a chromatic chord, a chord that goes out of key, and a chord that your audience is not accustomed to, so it could be a bit questionable for them or hard to justify for you as a musician, hard to make it sound good in this sense, that you can make this chord sound better by making it more dissonant. Because when you make it more dissonant, you make it clearer to the listener that this chord, it's a chord that happens only in passing. It's only a movement chord. I hesitate to use the term passing chord because it has a very specific meaning, but in general, the idea here is whenever you have a chord that it's not in key and that you don't know if your audience will accept or not, make that chord more dissonant. Add more notes or alter some notes to make it more dissonant so that it's perfectly clear that that chord is there only in passing. Now, why most music theory books just hint at it and don't say this explicitly? Because this is just a rule of thumb. It's not guaranteed to work 100% of time. It's just something that it's worth to try when you are trying to make some specific chord sound good. So, when you finish this video, don't go out there saying that Tommaso Ziglia of musictheoryforguitar.com told you that every single time you have a bad chord, you have to make it more dissonant to make it sound better. It does not work every single time, but it's worth to try. Now, interesting things happen to our three examples that we've seen before if we change the inversions of those chords. In this case, we're going to play them this way. We're going to play first the C chord, then the F chord but in root position, so the F is at the bass. Then we're going to play an inversion of our extended augmented 6th chords, and then we're going to play a G 7th chord in root position. The idea here is to invert the augmented 6th interval. Or in other words, before we add the A flat note at the bass and the F sharp note above, now we want to have the F sharp note at the bass, bridging between the root of the F chord and the root of the G chord, and we want to have the A flat note possibly at the top or in general in one of the other voices of the chord. Well, let's first play a standard German augmented 6th chord, which you guys may remember being equivalent to an A flat 7th chord. What would happen if I play this? Now let's try to play first now an A flat 7 sus 4 instead than this. For some reason, this strange note out there reminds me of some 70s science fiction movies. It's a note that by all rights should be wrong, and yet for some reason it seems to work for me. Again, it may or may not work for you, but personally I like it. What happens if I'm playing an A flat minor 7th instead? Personally, I like this a little bit less. I preferred the A flat minor 7th much better when it was in root position with the A flat at the base. What happens if I play an A flat minor 7th flat 5? So if I play the Tristan chord only inverted in this way. And again, personally, I still like the Tristan chord even in this inversion. Again, all our ears are different, and depending on the music you listen to, you may find some of those options absolutely delicious or completely intolerable. And I'm not even gonna discuss that. You guys take what you like among all those options, use what you like, and leave the rest on the table. It's not a problem. So in this video, we went beyond what most harmony books do. We took the principle behind the augmented 6th chords and not just the 3 basic examples that everybody sees, and we found new different chords that we can put in there based on the principle. If you want to understand harmony based on the principles of harmony and not just with a bunch of examples, of course, we can also do a bunch of examples, but if you want to understand the principle behind that, then I recommend you guys have a look at my course, Complete Chord Mastery. That is a course made by guitar players for guitar players and that concentrates on making harmony works on the fretboard of your guitar and in giving you not only a lot of examples, but also to make you understand the principles behind harmony so that you can make sense of all the examples and you can even invent your own different, creative, original ideas in your songs. If you have just a minute, check out Complete Chord Mastery at the link on the top right. If you like this video, smash on that like button, don't forget to subscribe and click on notification, otherwise YouTube will not let you know when I put up a new video. And if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback, write it down in the comment. I love reading your comments and then make video based on that. This is Tommaso Ziglia of musictheoryforguitar.com, and until next time, enjoy!